Howdy everybody, I'm TheZoeman, and this time on Reviewing Stuff, I'll be reviewing the PSP Japanese horror game called Corpse Party, and I will also be reviewing the Primus album that was released last year called Green Naugahyde. Alright, so let's start with Corpse Party. This is a Japanese horror game that is done in the anime sort of cartoon style, and it's basically about these high school kids that mess with things that they shouldn't and end up in this cursed ghost elementary school where tragic events happened, and you have to solve the mysteries before everybody dies. And overall, I give this game an 8 out of 10. What I liked about it is that the language being Japanese instead of English, it actually kind of made the game a little bit creepier. I mean, yes, the text is in English, but hearing the way that these voice actors say some of the things that they say really is freaking creepy. And I found myself creeped out just from different ghosts saying shit. So I found that interesting. I also liked how there was the old school kind of graphics. It's reminiscent of the 16-bit kind of graphics. And it was originally made back in 1998 or so on a program called RPG Maker. Most of you might already know it, but if you don't, it's a Japanese program where you can make RPGs in the 16-bit style. Well, it was eventually remade into a PSP version and kept some of the same graphics, and I thought it would hinder some of the what the game wanted to do, but at the same time it didn't. And I found that interesting, which kind of proves that you can have kind of lower looking graphics and still have it be an effective video game. I also liked how the story is gripping. It has some of the stereotypical Japanese like twists and turns that you wouldn't expect, but it definitely is a gripping story that's interesting. I also liked how creepy it was via some of the different sights and sounds that you experience, whether it was a door creaking or the sight of a dead body or what have you, you know. It definitely added to the creepiness of the game. I also liked how the player can be tricked into many different wrong ends, or game overs, in other words. And some of them can be tricky in the way that you go along, you do something wrong, you continue to play the game, and then it kills you, or you do something wrong right away and it kills you. So I found that interesting that the game did that. Definitely frustrated me when I played it, but definitely was still fun as hell. The only thing I didn't like about it was the ending of the final chapter, because this game is split up into 5 chapters and 10 extra chapters that kind of give background information. And just look it up. I'm not going to say it. Just look it up. All I know is, for me, it was weird as hell. But for other people, it might be their cup of tea. Overall, I liked it. I would definitely recommend it for anybody that has a PSP or the ability to play this game. So, you know, just play it. Alright, next up is the album from Primus that was released last year called Green Naugahyde. It features Jay Lane as the drummer yet again, as he was the drummer for Primus back in the late 80s, early 90s. And overall, I give the album an 8 out of 10. What I liked about it was that it had a good sound for Primus, and that it was sort of different from what they've done before, but not really at the same time. It was kind of cool. I also like Jay Lane as the drummer. You know, he adds something to the table, and that's what I think a new band member should do, is add something to the table for the band rather than try to copy what the previous member has done. And his drumming is definitely interesting, and I like it. I admittedly do hear that it is kind of like a Les Claypool solo album, but at the same time, it still sounds like Primus. You can still tell that it's Primus from the listening of it. You know, if you hear any of the songs, you'll know it's Primus. I also liked the obvious awesome bass, guitar, and drum fills, you know. So there's all that. And the only thing I didn't like about it, it's not a big complaint, is that Les Claypool's vocals were soft sometimes to where he was drowned out by some of the other instruments on them, but at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. I still get the gist of what he wants to say. Overall, I do like it as a new Primus album, as they have not released an album for quite some time. And, you know, I hope they make more good stuff until they officially, and I mean, officially, break up or whatever they want to do. So yeah. Alright, well that about wraps it up. You guys can like, favorite, subscribe, whatever you want to do if you liked this video. If you want to suggest a video game for me to play and review, or an album for me to listen to and review, you're more than welcome to do that via the comments on this video, the YouTube page, or the soon-to-be Facebook page, which I will have the link to as soon as I can in this video. And if no one suggests anything for me, I will be reviewing the classic survival horror game on the PlayStation called Resident Evil, and the classic Pink Floyd album called Dark Side of the Moon. Have a good one, everybody.